and you're minding your own business doing the stupid busy work your teacher handed out to you as you walked in the door. All of a sudden you hear a loud pop. Is that gunfire? You think to yourself. Then you hear the terrified screams. It's just then you realize your worst nightmare is coming true. There's a person in the school with a gun trying to hurt you and all your classmates. What do? Run? Hide? Teachers need to be able to carry in order to protect students in situations like this. In doing research for this topic, I found schools that allow teachers to have and carry have been proven to be safer. So let's look at the facts. According to CNN, there have been 180 school shootings in the past 10 years in the United States. After the Parkland, Florida shooting at Stoneman Douglas, the House of Representatives in Florida passed legislation in May 2019 that would allow classroom teachers to carry firearms in schools, according to the Future of Working blog. In an emergency situation, it would be every armed teacher against the one gunman. CNN states that these shootings had either taken a life from or injured 356 people. CNN also states that there are signs this trauma is only going to continue. So what can be done to solve this problem, one may ask? Let teachers carry. School shootings might be a thought in every parent's mind as they drop their kids off at school or they wave goodbye to the school bus as it drives off. If teachers carried, parents would have one less thing to worry about during the day. In May of 2018, it was confirmed in Texas that 30% of the 1,023 schools allowed teachers to carry while class was in session, according to an article written by Beatriz Alvarado of the Caller Times newspaper. The day after the shooting in Parkland, President Donald Trump made a statement that said, "I want certain highly adept people who understand weaponry, guns, to have a permit to carry concealed firearms in schools," according to the New York Times. It isn't just about the lack of mental health systems in the United States anymore. There's only so much one person can do. Increasing funding for mental health services has its benefits, but it's hard for one mental health professional to be able to identify patients who have or do pose a serious violent threat. It's common for mass killers to have already been seeing psychiatrists before their attacks. I'm so sorry. According to John R. Lott, Jr., president of Crime Prevention Research Center, in fact, from January 1998 through May 2018, 42% of mass public shooters were seeing mental health care professionals before their attacks. One teacher could stop a human being from taking the lives of the class they have come to know and call their own. They can stop innocent lives from being taken with just one tool they could keep in their desk. So let's look at the raw statistic of states that can actually carry. I found there are 15 states that allow all schools or some schools, as in a large number of schools, to carry guns while class is in session. These include Alabama, Alaska, Idaho, Illinois, Michigan, Missouri, New Hampshire, Oregon, Rhode Island, South Dakota, Utah, Wyoming, Ohio, and Texas, and Florida. There are another 8 states that have policies that specifically allow employees other than security personnel, which are allowed to carry guns in 28 states, to carry guns on school property, though they might need the district's permission beforehand. These include Idaho, Kansas, Louisiana, Missouri, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Wyoming. This little action has already helped make teachers and students safer, according to the Crime Prevention Research Center. The only occurrence of a school shooting at a facility with armed teachers this decade is when teachers weren't even there. On July 21st, 2017, at about 2:30 in the morning, a 19-year-old man shot an 18-year-old man in the parking lot of Spanish Fork High School in Utah. According to Clark Apanesian, the senior member of Utah's Concealed Firearm Review Board, roughly 5% of Utah teachers carry permitted concealed handguns at schools across the entire state. According to Mr. John Lott, the rate of school shootings and people killed by them has increased significantly since 2000. The yearly average of number of people who died in 2001 to 2008 versus 2009 to 18 has doubled. This increase has occurred entirely among schools that do not have armed teachers. Outside of suicides or gang violence in the wee hours in the morning, there is yet to be a single case of someone being wounded or killed from a shooting when a teacher is armed and around. The image I painted at the beginning of this speech was one of panic and unsureness. This time, imagine the teacher having a defense in place, like the one instance of an armed teacher stopping a school shooting in 1997. Assistant Principal Mr. Merrick ran across the campus to get his Colt 45 he had been carrying since he started driving. He used this weapon and retrieved it from his car, and he pointed it at the 16-year-old without firing. He then ran to his car and tried to flee. It was when his car spun out and Mr. Merrick had to chase him that he had stopped in a ditch 20 steps away from him. He continued to point the firearm at the young man until the authorities arrived. To recap, 180 school shootings in the last 10 years have happened. Letting teachers carry is going to help solve this deadly issue. This will result in sending your kids to a school in a worry-free environment and protect students against intruders there with devilish and sinister intentions. When the chance presents itself, please make it known there is something that can be done to fight against the ruthless act of school shootings, and that's arming the teachers. It took Florida and Texas a deadly shooting to realize something needs to be done in order to prevent this. Don't let Tennessee wait any longer. Get out in front of the issue. If and when the chance presents itself, advocate for allowing teachers to carry guns in all schools around the state. There is almost nothing left to lose, but by having the option, there is much more to gain from arming teachers. It has been proven more effective than doing nothing at all.